Hooray. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this month's webinar. We're going to get started in a few minutes' time. In the meantime, you can say hello in the chat window. I'm going to welcome and do an early welcome to Amy, who's our guest presenter today. I'm so excited. Yay. Amy is much more of an expert at Seesaw than I am, so this is going to be a fantastic thing. And it's so good to see everybody logging in. I'll do a formal introduction of Amy when we do get officially started, but in the meantime, we can all say hello.
Hi. Katie, can you hear me okay? Because I didn't use an external mic today.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah, I know. This is my issue too, yeah. So yes, I can hear you just fine, so it's all good. I'm sure everyone else will let us know.
Yes.
And Amy's lovely daughter Sarah is on as well, and she's in the chat window saying hello to everybody. I can see her. She says, I am Amy's kid.
Sarah has an investment in this one as I'm showing most of her Seesaw work.
She's going to help me out answer questions about Seesaw since I know it kind of, but not as well as she does.
If you want to ask a student about Seesaw, she's there to answer those questions. She's also my student as well as my daughter. So
I love it. I love it. We've got some familiar names on, I can see. So welcome to Jim, Diana, Maria, Jim again. Jim teaches grade 1, K1 and 2. Nice. Allegra's in Brooklyn. Bev's in Santa Rosa. Becky, hello, Becky. Deb, Bronwyn's in Tassie. Awesome. It's Cup Day for you. Oh, that's really good. And you have Cup Day on a Wednesday. I don't even think I knew that Tassie had a Cup Day. There you go. That's terrible, isn't it, that I didn't know that? Well, that's nice. And I'm presuming that it's going ahead as usual, is it? I don't know. Things are so weird at the moment with events. We just, some of you might know, we just finished the Australian Open tennis, here in Melbourne. Oh my gosh. It was so weird because we went into a 5-day lockdown in the middle of the 2-week match period. And so for some of the matches early on, they had people watching, very minimal. And then for a few days, they had absolutely nobody watching at all because they weren't able to. And all of the seats were empty. The whole stadium was empty. It was so strange and weird. And they ended up, my son and I were laughing because they must have gone to a printer very quickly and printed these massive kind of, I guess they're stretchy material, printed signs that they put over the seats, over the sections of seats, which looked amazing, but they had to obviously print them in, like they printed the first couple and put them up for a match. And then the next day more appeared and the next day more appeared. And they were just, and I thought, I hope to get more use out of these in the future because I don't know if it was a one-off or not. It was so bizarre. Anyway, wow. And then the lockdown ended, so then we had people watching again for the last bit. So that was good. Very strange.
That is different.
Yeah. It was really different. It was very odd seeing matches happening with nobody watching and just no cheering. It must have been so different for the players. So strange. So strange. We've got a couple joined on the YouTube comments as well. So welcome to Jennifer and Julie. I can see you've commented there. Last month, or actually last time we had a webinar, we had a little bit of a disaster with the YouTube comments. I think I worked out why. I think it's because I made the event public. It was a public YouTube video live event as opposed to an unlisted one, which I've done today. It's unlisted, so we should be safe. I'll try and keep an eye on it.
There were things like I was like, I can't read this.
I know. So my brain. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. Anyway, we had the lovely Katrina who fixed it up madly in the background last time and blocked it all. It's just crazy. So hello. I'm sorry, I've missed a lot of people saying hello. So hello to everybody who's already said hello. I can see Heidi and Frank and Beth and Judith and Lisa. Sarah a few times.
Sarah, now let's dominate the
chat. She probably types fast as well, does she?
Yes, she does.
Kathy and Eva. Eva's in Illinois. Excellent. Lisa's in Hanover. No, she loves Hanover. I read that incorrectly. Oh, I'm so way up in the chat. I've got to scroll down a bit. Yeah, so so he's just asking Sarah, are you Amy's daughter? Yes, that's right. Absolutely. And Sue said she remembers when Amy used your third grade Seesaw link to try things out. That's it.
It's true. Poor Sarah gets bombarded with so many activities. I'm like, just ignore them. Just ignore them.
It's like I've spoken about my kids as well in the past and using their things. And so do you want to know this is a funny story just before we get started officially? Years ago, I had my son Josh record a rap for me because I've got that rap my name sort of basic rap lesson, tech lesson. Anyway, so he recorded a rap for me because I said, I really want a kid example. And he did it, I think, when he was maybe in grade 3 or so. He's in year 9 now. Like he's 14 years old now. And he would have been, I don't know, 9 years old or 10 years old or something when he did it. So recently I contributed a chapter to Adam Patrick Bell's music technology cookbook.
Yeah.
And it's ended up being the first. Yeah, it just arrived for me. Every other author got theirs last October or so. And that's how long it took to get to Australia. So I just got it yesterday. Mine is chapter 1. So that's nice. And Josh's, the link to Josh's actual recording is in the book. So he's like thrilled because, you know, he's now famous and in a published book. So funny. Anyway, great. Okay, excellent. I think it's just about time. So we might get started officially. Yay. I'm going to share my screen for the moment and then Amy will take over and share hers and I'll sit back. And today I'm going to be in the moderation window. So that's kind of nice. I'm going to do mine. Let me just switch to this. And I'm going to do this version for the moment. Hey, there we go. Excellent. All right. So we're going to get started. I'm just going to leave mine like this because it's easier. So welcome to everybody. And if you are new to me and what I do and new to one of these free monthly webinars, I just thought I'll quickly introduce myself. So many of you online today have been to these before and have done other events and online courses with me. So welcome to you. But if you are new, my name's Katie and I run Midnight Music. I'm based in Australia and I do a range of things. I have a blog and a podcast and run online courses and so on. I have a couple of boys and a dog who are there. You may well hear the dog at some point during the webinar because she hates it when I'm talking live to people for some reason. And yeah, so that's what I do. And so these monthly webinars are free and I've been doing them for quite some time. We did have a little break last month because I had a lot of other things going on and it was January, but we're back here this month and I'm really thrilled that Amy's going to do this one because we're doing it all about Seesaw. Yay! So Amy is a fantastic elementary teacher. She's based in New Jersey. She may well do her own introduction and tell you more about herself, but she's an author of multiple books, all to do with music technology, particularly with an elementary focus. So fantastic if you are an elementary teacher. I can highly recommend Amy's books, and her latest one is there on the screen, Using Technology with Elementary Music Approaches. I always have to check the titles. All of the music tech books that I own by all the different authors are so similar in title.
Yes, they are.
I get them all so confused. So Amy also is amazing because she helps me out in my Midnight Music community as a coordinator. She helps answer all the questions. Oh my gosh, it's so good having someone else in there, just not just me. So it's been fantastic. And she's a Seesaw ambassador and she has a YouTube channel where there are lots of tips and tricks and especially about Seesaw. So for more things, I'm sure Amy's also going to mention that after today, you can head over there and check it out. Now, just before we get started properly, tech issues, if you do have tech issues, just try leaving and coming back to the same link that you clicked on to get to this page. It's usually internet issues at your own end, if there are issues at all. So just give that a go. And if all else fails, we are recording it and you can access a recording afterwards anyway. I've put a copy of the slides will be provided, and I forgot to check with Amy that that's true. I think it's true. At the very least, there's lots of links today. Yes, great. And I am going to moderate the chat today. Usually Amy is doing that while I'm presenting, but I'm going to moderate the chat while Amy presents today. So that's really awesome. And one last thing before we get started. I've just got a few announcements. The first one is that, and this is one of the reasons we didn't have a January webinar, I've been doing this video creation for music teachers course. Everybody's working on it at the same time at the moment. Actually, that's not quite true. People are doing it at their own pace, but it's running at the moment. And oh my gosh, the things that people are making is so amazing. I'm so just blown away by the things that everyone has been producing. So this is all about how to create videos. These is a few of the shots of things that I've ended up doing as part of me creating examples for the course. We've got a section on how to use a green screen. We've got a section on making simple play-along videos and one on making advanced play-along videos. And then the last module, which is about to be available in the next 2 days, is virtual choir instructions / virtual band, choir, orchestra, whatever you want, and how to make those. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to pop some links up in just a moment when I hop into the chat window. I also want to mention that Amy is going to do a whole course on Seesaw. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up for the wait list. And again, I'll provide the link for that in a moment, maybe at the top of the chat window right now even. And yeah, that will be in mid 2021. We were going to do it around now. We had to push it back. Multiple reasons. You know what it's like. Life, coronavirus, things, just all the things happening. But
Life.
it will happen. Just life. That's what I said about the course when I couldn't get module 4 and 5 out as quickly as I wanted to. Oh my gosh, exhausting. And the last couple of things I'll say, I ran last year a Canva course. So this is called Create Beautiful Teaching Resources. Obviously forgot to fix that logo up. And this was all about using Canva to create teaching resources. The feedback was fantastic from that course. Lots of people made amazing things once again. So if you're interested in knowing more about Canva, feel free to join in with that one. So what's happening at the moment is it's available right now. You can go in and take the whole course if you want to. Over the next couple of months, I'm going to be revising all of the tutorial videos that make up that course because Canva's had a lot of changes, and this is the joy of working with technology. Once you make a course, it's basically outdated as soon as you finish. So it's exciting, not really, but I will be redoing at least some of those videos to update them to the features that are available now because Canva's had a lot of updates and extra features added. All right, and the final thing before I hand over to Amy, if you would like to vote on future topics for webinars, I've got a form that you can fill out. I did have one last year, and this is a different one. I've refreshed the webinar topics that I've suggested in this one. So there's only 3, and you can vote on which one, 1, 2, and 3 that you would prefer. And then there's a space for you to add your own suggestions if you'd like to. So go ahead and let me know what you'd like to see next month. And the most popular topic I will do next month. And then I'll see what else other people suggest too. So that's it from me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will just change my screen over here. You can add yours, or do you want me to add yours? Add to stream. There we go.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and I will remove myself. Do you want to have you on the screen while you're presenting?
Remove me.
Full screen.
They don't need to see. Yes, that's so much better. Thank you.
That's what I like too. That's what I like. All right. Thanks so much, Amy, and I'll see you on the other side.
Awesome. I'll go full screen on some of this, but I don't like losing the camera. So I'm going to keep it like this until I need to go full screen on things. But today it's Seesaw, music activities. And then I love the way Katie titled this, Wait, You Can Do All That. So we're talking about Seesaw, and this is what we're going to do tonight. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much, Katie, for taking on my suggestion, like, hey, you're busy. That video course looks like it's a lot of work. And I know it is. It's amazing. And as people have been commenting, it is truly amazing, that video course. So I was really happy. She was like, sure, take this month's webinar. So I'm going to go into Seesaw. And just so, who am I? I am Amy Burns, and I have written 4 books, as you saw, and this is what I do. I am a teacher, just like probably many on the call. This is after 20, I think I'm 25 years into teaching, 24 at this current school. Sarah is on the chat. She is my daughter as well as one of my students. And if she gets too chatty, Katie, just tell her mom says not to chat too much. Sarah is our techie. Many times when I'm having tech problems, I just ask Sarah. So she's there. Amy Ann Burns, you can find the Wakelet, but the Wakelet is also going to be put into the chat. And the Wakelet has all our live links. So everything you're seeing here in the slides, the Wakelet will have the link to it. So like to my YouTube, Twitter account, follow me, like, subscribe. Usually I'm trying to put a new video every week or every other week. And it's usually something like, here's an activity and here's how I created it. So you could just grab the activity or watch how it was created. So I'm so excited to be here tonight. I do have this publication that came out last fall, and it has some of the best gurus in the business, Dr. Missy Strong, Glennis Patterson, Ardith Collins, and Cherie Herring. And Missy wrote the portion of this about the first steps, the overview. Glennis wrote the Kodai overview. Ardith wrote the Schulerk overview. And Cherie and I worked on the project-based learning, and then I worked all the lessons. And because of what Katie said, it's so true. Tech goes out of style right when you're writing it. So I have on my website and my YouTube channel, I constantly update it so that you can get more items and you can get things that are changing, and it goes along with it. So that's why I made sure it had a supplemental website. And again, it's published by Oxford. Today, I'm going to give you, I always say this, if you know me, if you've been in my sessions, you know, I'm going to give you a dessert buffet. And if you eat everything, you will get sick. So as I do this, just look at this from the lens of, I'm only going to have a strawberry and a little bit of cake, not try to eat everything. Again, my resources will have it. Right now, it has the Wakelet link up right now, and then I'll put the slides up there, but I'll give them to Katie. I think Katie actually takes the slides and only puts them on Midnight Music. I believe that's how it works. So I'll just go by whatever Katie tells me to do. What to bring to this session, bring to your session a beverage of your choice. I don't care what time it is in your area. Bring a beverage of your choice and enjoy it. Bring it, like I always say that for me, doing mind-brain education training a lot right now, writing helps me. And I just got this great Rocket book. So I can write, and scan it. It goes right to my Google Drive and wipe the page clean. And writing really helps me. So when you're looking at this dessert buffet, you'll be able to write the one or, type it in or use whatever device you're using just to take a note of that one I want to try. And I'm excusing that one. The little thought bubble is bring your brain. And because being open mind here, it's going to be a lot of fun to see this. And then Seesaw, I put in the help.seesaw.me. I'm starting from the place that you have already used Seesaw. So if you have never used Seesaw, watch this webinar knowing this is where you can go. And then go to help.seesaw.me to get yourself started. So I'm going to start with the frequently asked questions because I saw some of them already coming in the chat. So what are the differences between the free and paid versions? That's a really good question. And here are the differences. I'm going to bump this up a little bit so you can see that. So here's the difference. You have all the way over to the left, Seesaw, free forever. In the middle, if you want to pay your own individual price for Seesaw Plus, and then your school takes it over and they give you Seesaw, that's Seesaw for schools. So when we look at this, we see that the basics here, the free version does quite a lot. I mean, in the first part of this column, it only varies quite just a little bit there of how many classes. Like if we teach 50 classes, the free doesn't seem to work. But then if you think about it, instead of 50 classes, call it 5 grade levels, and then you can make that free work. So there's some great things that you can do in both when it's free and paid. Here is where probably the paid version is going to be more intuitive and beneficial. When you're trying to create multiple page posts, in the free version, you can just create a page post. That's it. So when you're creating an activity, you can only create 1 page. In the paid version, you can create 20 pages in your activity. So if you're trying to use Seesaw like you're using Google Slides, the free version is going to feel very limited. And there's no drafts. Like Google Classroom has drafts, Seesaw has drafts, but not in the free version. So there are some limitations, and I think that's where we feel it right now because all of us are in these ever-changing teaching scenarios, from remote to asynchronous to synchronous to in-person with restrictions to hybrid to concurrent. So I am currently 5 days a week, full days in person with restrictions. We've been like that since September. We are in cohorts. I see my 2 grade levels 2 times a week. 2 weeks full And then I get 2 more grade levels, and then I get 2 more grade levels. Currently, I have been the teacher that has gotten the grade level that then goes boom into quarantine. So that I have 1 cohort out right now. So I'm teaching 1 kindergarten live, and then I jump on and teach 1 remote. And then finally, between our differences there, the assessment's nice, but really, like, it's great to have, but if you want to pay for it, it's not something that's essential. I really think it's the multi-page activities that makes you leap into the paid version. And of course, the last 2 topics are really just for your IT. So I'm going to go into this next question here. Should I create my own journal, or should I tack onto the teacher's journal? So that's a great question. It's one that I heard so much last year at this time, when many of us in the States went into lockdown, or we've been in various lockdowns. So here's my answer. There's no right answer to this question. So here's how I feel about this question. I would say this. If you are brand new to Seesaw, tack on to the classroom teacher. The classroom teacher has more communication with your parents, and therefore your parents are going to start seeing your Seesaw posts and start to see that you're not just concert preparation, and they'll start to see all your cross-curricular activities, your integration, your musical knowledge, your standards, and that's a great asset to you. However, once you start going on it, your students will start cluttering up the feed with your materials, and your classroom teacher is not going to like you. And we really don't want to tick off the classroom teachers. They can be our best allies. That's when you need to start your own journal. A lot of times it's dictated by the school and price. However, if you have a choice, if you're brand new, tack on. Once you have it down, leave and do your own. That's my advice on that one. Again, you can feel free to disagree. That is okay. Can I share Seesaw on my learning management system? Sorry, it disappeared on there for you. Yes, you totally can. Sorry, I'm flipping through too fast. You totally can share it on your learning system. So if you have Google Classroom, you can share it on Google Classroom. If you have Canvas, you have Schoology, Blackboard, whatever the learning management system is, yes, it's pretty intuitive to share Seesaw, and I'll show you how to do that. This one comes up often as well. So will Seesaw integrate into Denise Gagne's Musicplay? So I'm talking about Musicplay Online. Now, there's 2 links on that page there. There's Musicplay Online, and then there's Beta Musicplay Online. So the beta is so Musicplay Online is classic, and the beta is started coming out in November. Now, beta, you need a subscription to see, but the beta version is leveled up Musicplay Online with improvements. So it's going to be easier for me to talk about this. So I pre-recorded this one, but I wanted to kind of answer this question because this comes up a lot. At least it comes up to me a lot, is can I integrate Musicplay with Seesaw? So here's the answer to that, and it shows you kind of a walkthrough on how to do that. Oh, of course, I had to hit it. Nope, that's good. Here we go. So here I am in Seesaw. There's a few different ways that I could integrate Musicplay and Seesaw together. When you do that, you're thinking of Seesaw more as a learning management system to get to the students, to get them over to Musicplay, and then come back and reflect on Seesaw. So you could just put it in the journal, which I'm circling there on the screen, and you can just put the link into the journal, or you could put the link into the activities and give them more specific items to do, like reflect on this song or create a video of yourself doing a movement. So let's say that you're going to do that one. So we're going to go into add an activity, assign an activity, and we'll create an activity. How many times can I say activity? I know. So you put in the instructions, click the link, and then it will bring you to Musicplay Online, log in, and then come back. So let's look at Musicplay. Now, Denise is an amazing, 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 I can't sing her praises enough, woman. She is phenomenal. And if you know Musicplay, and you've seen her videos and you've gone through her materials here, you know what I'm talking about. she just won, I think, a music educator or some beautiful award from Florida. So well deserved. I think like if every state organization here could give her an award, they should, because what she did for us during the pandemic, her price point, all this free, she made this her classic website, musicplayonline.com, absolutely free for you to use. I mean, if you are a brand new teacher, this pretty much lesson plans for you. If you're a veteran teacher, this helps you to find so many video resources that you don't have to create yourself. Now, if you don't know this and you are a subscriber, she's now launching the beta. Around November, her programmers launched the beta version, and it's improving all the time. And what does she do? She listens to you, to what she needs to improve on, and then she improves it because she's that good. So I'm going to show you now from the beta, because one of the challenges we had with the classic, which is right here, is that all of these items didn't have their own links. So we were constantly putting in our Seesaw activities, go here, go there, go here, do this, or making demo videos using Loom to show them how to do it. And when they're younger, that means the parents learning it, and the parents were frustrated enough when we were in lockdown. So we are going to show you something she heard about that, and her programmers improved beautifully. So beta.musicplayonline.com is the beta version of Musicplay. You do need a subscription to be able to access this. Her subscription price point is so wonderful that I pay it out of my pocket. And again, so, I'll use it here and there, because when I need something, I know I can find it here. When I have a new music teacher I had to train on lockdown last year, I could just throw them right on this site and say, you'll find everything you need here, and explore the site, and you'll learn so well what you're missing in music teaching that you haven't experienced yet, basically. So she's amazing. And this beta version is incredible. And one of the things she improved on is she now has individual links. So let's take an example here. You go to the learning module, and let's go to kindergarten. One of the challenges we had is we had to train the parents or the caregivers to find things in Musicplay for their kindergartner to do, especially asynchronous and remote learning, or even hybrid, just to have the kindergartner who's on screen with a parent probably around the corner or a caregiver. Showing them how to maneuver the site is challenging. It takes up time. So now if you go into this module, of course the modules had individual links, but let's look at one of her movement pieces in this module. So Wallaby Hop. So let's say you want Wallaby Hop, you want the movement, you want the song. She's now made it so it is an individual link. So when we go and put in discover Wallaby Hop, and then I come over to Wallaby Hop, I have everything here. And that link can easily be copied. And when I put it into Seesaw, even if I just say add a link or put it in the template, even if I just do it this way and add this link, now the students have access to it, and it will link right over. Now they do need, again, it needs a subscription to do this beta, to use this beta. But when you do, they'll go right into this. And I'm not going to go into more details of this. That's its own webinar in itself. I would highly advise you to check out Musicplay online, especially now the beta version, to get a subscription. It's the best $150 you will ever spend. I don't know if that price varies from different countries, but in the States, it's $150. It is the best price you'll spend. It's not $150 for kindergarten. It's $150 for preschool through 6. In addition, finally, that when you're going to use Seesaw and integrate it with Musicplay, it's kind of like, again, an LMS for you. This is going to be a learning management system. The link off, and then the activity will say, do the Wallaby Hop. And then on the second page, video yourself. Well, hello, I'm in my classroom. And video yourself doing the Wallaby Hop, and then submit it to me. And grab grandpa, or grab your caregiver, or grab mom, or grab your sister, and do the Wallaby Hop and send it back to me. So that's an idea. And again, it just addresses that question. It's a very popular question on that one, so I wanted to address that one. Here's another popular question. Is there a difference between the web version, the iOS version, and the Android version? So I like how Terrell said, yeah, there's going to be a little difference. Yeah, the iOS version and the Android, Andrew Android would be more like the web version, but iOS, it does vary, and it's varying more and more now between the web version and iOS. I do feel like the web version is doing a lot more. So on this one, the question is, can I place an accompaniment on the screen and have the students record with that accompaniment? It's like the $1 million question, isn't it? So I on my YouTube channel show you 4 ways to do that. And now today I had to scratch that down to 3. The comment tool no longer will do this, meaning you might have done this where you recorded yourself in the comments. They clicked the microphone, clicked the comment, you're going the other day, and they're supposed to echo you. That no longer works. So if you look at this graphic right here, it's going to tell you it can't play the audio while recording. It no longer works. And if you try to start with the comment, the microphone disappears. The reason I believe this to be is due to the update that's coming supposedly this week. So speaking of that update this week, can I upload an MP3 file? It's coming this week. Like, this update is supposedly coming. I think that's why the comment tool has left. And I think that's why we are sitting here going, did it come yet? Has it come? Wait, did Seesaw update? I don't know. I told Katie this week, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And according to Seesaw on Twitter and Facebook, they're supposed to update. So it could literally update while I'm presenting on it. That's a little frustrating. I got to tell you about that. But yes, it will be able to upload MP3s. And here's what else the update is going to be able to do for you. Where we used to have to, when we want to record just ourselves talking, like to say, like, click here and here's the rhythm pattern, you'll hear it. So you just wanted this audio icon, which played you going ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. So in Seesaw, to do that, you had to start a new slide, hit the microphone, say ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, then diminish it down to the minuscule so it wouldn't have the rest of the background, but just the little icon. Then you had to copy and paste it and put it on the slide you wanted it on. And you couldn't copy and paste in iOS. Again, bringing up where the differences are here between iOS and web. So all of this was challenging. So Seesaw heard that, and now you will be able to put 20 voice recordings. That means record into the page 20 different times. And you'll be able to add it to labels and pictures and other items on the screen. And yes, you can finally upload an MP3. Now, I got to tell you, Seesaw allowed it back in 2015. I was one of the people who used to do it all the time, and somewhere along those updates, it stopped. But they have brought it back. MP3, M4A, they will be supported, and WAV file. So a little higher quality there when adding a WAV file. 250 megabytes and no longer than 5 minutes. It's really good is they address that question, that bottom question. Do you see it? Because this is the question that we have once we heard they could upload MP3s. No audio cannot be played while recording with the draw and record tool, voice tool, or video camera. So I'm going to show you 3 ways to work around that. They're not as intuitive as we wish, but they do work. So I'm going to come back to these updates at the end just to give you some ideas of what you can do with them. But this last one allows more sorting activities where the students won't be as able to as easily reshape the item. Now, because this is what Seesaw wrote, update your iOS and Android apps, but it does say right there on the bottom, features will be turned on in late February after people update. So they're talking about Android and iOS. So if your students are using iOS, make sure they update, because I can't understand that, and it makes me assume that they will turn on when this features when they see enough of the devices updating. I'm curious about that, but they did write that very largely and often, many times. And then to learn how to use it, this link is included in the Wakelet. So I'm going to show you some items here as we've now gone through the updates and we've gone through some of these frequently asked questions. I want to just start briefly with the journal. When we jumped into lockdown last year, most of my classes for about 3 weeks into lockdown were asynchronous. So it meant that, you know, it was no Zoom, no Google Meets. It was Seesaw. It was Seesaw for my preschool, kindergarten, and first grade, 2nd through 4th as well. But the 3rd and 4th had the Google Classroom. But preschool through second only had Seesaw. So using my Google Slides, what I did was created these Google Slides where when they clicked on the link, it automatically opened. How are you all doing? And it automatically played. So they didn't have to maneuver it. And it told them what we were working on and how to do it. It gave you a clip on how to do it. Everything just scrolled down by itself. They would just click down arrow to go to the next thing. Our musician of the month, or week, excuse me. So this again was just giving them the present mode. Now let's sing our goodbye song. Goodbye, so long, farewell, my friends. It's a family event when we create a video. Sarah, her favorite stuffy. Michaela's actually videoing us. It's a family event. The only one who'll never make appearance is Mr. Burns. He's not a film fanatic. However, this is what we did, and I put this in present mode, and I put it on, and they just click play, and then just join in and follow along on the slides. Of course, to do the RM equals minimal would have gotten that menu bar out of there, so it should have been in present RM equals minimal. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, Katie did an awesome Google Slide webinar a couple of months back, and definitely check it out if you're a part of the MMC community, and if not, check it out on our YouTube channel. So now that's the journal. I used it a lot on Asynchronous, just post things on the journal. I wasn't meeting with them. I unfortunately wasn't connecting, and that was the best way I felt I could connect. However, now looking into the activity library, now it's a way to really trying to get the students to respond to you. So the activity library here has a lot of different activities as it's showing you here, and you can put in these activities. Let me just be clear. The activity library that's included in Seesaw is included in the free Seesaw. So that's great, as well as paid. It's like a teacher's paid teachers inside of Seesaw, but it's absolutely free. We love that. The only ones who can contribute to the activity library are Seesaw ambassadors. So there are some really great items and activities, and then there are some that you question why they're there. And it's because a classroom teacher checked off music because they did ABC somewhere inside the activity. So you do have to kind of go through it and see what it could be. But when you do, you can filter it out pretty nicely. You can go in and say, I want kindergarten and I want music. It's going to give you about 322 different activities. So again, you're still trying to kind of filter out items. So I do my find tool here to see if someone labeled it more of what I was looking for. For example, if I was looking for like eighth notes or TTs, or if I'm looking for So Me, I can try to use the find function in the browser to try and see if I can filter a little bit more. It's one of our concerns with the activity libraries. You can't filter as much as you'd like, and you'd like to filter out the ones that really don't apply to the music classroom. However, it is great to be able to have access to these, especially since they're free, and to be able to save them. So you can save them to your library, as well as you can assign them to your classes, and you can edit them. Now to edit them, you can go to the three dots, but it says print or share. You must click the little heart. Then you put it into your library, and now you are able to copy and edit it to your liking. So that means that you don't need to go with the way the teacher had it, especially if they put their Bitmoji in it. Then you can go back in there, edit out their Bitmoji, and edit in yours. If you take any of my activities and edit out my Bitmoji, that is completely fine. I have no issues with that whatsoever. Now, over here, I want to show you two views. On the left side is the teacher view, and on the right side is Sarah's journal view, logged in as Sarah as a student. And I do this because we really want to see what it looks like from both ends. And I have a great advantage of having a daughter in my school, two of them, where I can go into their Seesaw journals and look at them. So as we're looking here, we're in Seesaw, and I'm going to assign And this side that I'm showing you, the right side, is Sarah. So I'm going to assign Shri. And Shri, if you're on it, you are amazing. And you're one of the authors on the book. And we love you. Shri is an ambassador. So look for her, Shri Herring, Herring. So I'm going to assign her musical scavenger hunt. Great activity, by the way, for asynchronous. And I'm going to do more options just to show you some things that you can do here in the more options. Number one, you can add skills. So you could click the skills. Now, this is in the paid version, but when you add the skills, it's really great because then you have an assessment tool for any sort of progress report that you have to write. So I add that, I assign it. Now, I have Sarah in a different class here so that I'm not showing, these are all adults that I was teaching, music educators over at Lebanon Valley College. And if you're here from Lebanon Valley College, woohoo, you are amazing. It was a great course. So I put Sarah in the Seesaw course so that I could use this throughout the year in assigning her things. So I click the folders. The folders are a great organizational tool. They're kind of like hashtags, especially if you're sharing with a classroom school teacher, hashtag music, folder music. Sarah's going to add her response here. So there she is. She's opened it on her end in her activities in her journal. She can go through and read through this and find something that shakes. She hits the microphone button. She can record something that shakes right into it. When she does and she's finished, she will click done, and then it saves it as kind of a screen recording movie. Isn't that great? And for her to hit play, that's what she's doing there. She has to wait for it to upload. It doesn't take long to upload. I found on many different networks I've used this. And then she turns it in. Now, again, knowing Seesaw, if you don't know this, you are the gatekeeper. Blue means it's turned in. Orange means it's a draft. Now, draft is only on the paid version. So now in my teacher side here on the left, I can see that I have an unapproved post, and I look in it and it's Sarah's. And then it doesn't go on her journal until I approve it. I can now go through her skills. She can't see me rate the skills. That doesn't show up on hers. That's private to me. But I can now go back through her journal because I can filter it to just be Sarah and go through her skills. That's a really great thing for progress reports. Again, the skills are on the paid version, but that's a nice thing to have if you need it. If not, it's just great to have the students turning work into you and you putting it on their journal. Going into our next one, this brings up a frequently asked question. Why can't my students see my comments when I send back a draft? This was a huge issue in the fall. And actually, if I didn't have Sarah's journal to investigate, I would never have found this answer. If you're having this problem, here's why.
So I'm going to pre-record myself to answer this question. This is a common question, and the answer isn't as intuitive as we think it is. So I did want to address this question early on. On the left, this is a Seesaw teacher's journal. This is mine. On the right is, with its black top, it's an incognito tab with Sarah's journal. So Sarah is my daughter. She is also my student. So it's great to actually create this separate class that she's in where I can just check things from a student's end. And it really helps me to make sure I know what the students are experiencing. So I have assigned Sarah in the paid version this activity. Now, of course, you can assign this in the free version, but we'll be using drafts, and that's only in the paid version. So Sarah comes into her journal, and she's going to add a response. She opens it up, and she reads the directions and goes over to page 2. Here she is to record herself performing this rhythm. Ta ta ti ti ta 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 ti ti ta. Done. Now she's going to go to the next page and record herself. Ta ta ti ti ta 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 ti ti ta. Done. Okay, and then she's going to submit it. Now we have it so that it won't immediately go to her journal. It's waiting for teacher approval. Remember, blue means that they're waiting, and orange means it's a draft, so it's waiting. So we go over here, and if I go into this, it's going to refresh the page. So I'm going to go over into waiting. There we go. And I see one to review. It's not a draft because it's blue. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to go through her work and review. Ta ta ti ti ta 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 ti ti ta. Here I would leave a comment like, whoops, I don't see a TT. Can you try again? Okay, I'll click post to make sure it posts. If you don't click post, it won't actually appear. All right, now notice that the comment is flying all the way through. So, ta ta TT ta 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 TT ta for page 3 dot 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 and go on. So I'm going to post that. Perfect. Now I'm going to send back as a draft. So now I've sent this. There's the orange. It's a draft. Perfect. So let's say she logs in again and she comes in and sees this on her front page. So she's like, okay, nothing's back. But that's not true because there's an inbox right over here. You have to teach your students that if you sent something back to them as a draft, they need to go to their inbox and check the notifications. This is where they will see where you left the comments. And that's really helpful but not intuitive because they come to their journal and they don't see anything. The next place they might go, not their inbox, is activities. Now they can find your comments in activities, but again, it's not as intuitive. If she looks at this, she sees finished response. So she clicks on finished response. There's no comments here. Nothing that says you left a comment. Even if you went over to caption, it's not there. You could leave a caption that way, and then it would have a blue ring around it, and she would notice it's there, but she really has to know to look for that. Those comments you left aren't here, but they are if you do this. Instead of finish response, Sarah has to click into her journal, into the draft. Then she will see her comments. Again, not intuitive. If your goal is that you want them to be able to just go to the activities page and click on finish response, then what you want to do is edit her work and add a little text box that says, like on this page right here, whoops, try again. So that's what you would want to do. It's not intuitive, and it's really good to know. If your students are not seeing your comments, that's why. Either 1, train them to go look in their notifications. 2, train them to click back into the activity. Or 3, like put a text box, edit their work and put a text box directly on the page. For this one, because it has so many pages, that would be my solution.
So I don't know if you had that problem. That was something that like a few of us in the Seesaw for Music Teachers Facebook group really like agonized over. And then like another music educator is like, I see the comments, and we're like, we can't figure out what was going on. And I actually did a YouTube episode on this one because it really threw us for a loop. So that sums up what you see there and what I just said. So if you go through the slides, you'll be able to see this is what she talked about there. It's really good to know that, especially if students are saying, I didn't see your comments. That's why. So that brings us to the next one. Where can I find a student link to an activity so I can share it on their LMS? So once you assign the activity, then it comes up with that menu in the corner, the bottom right-hand corner, and you get that student link. That's what you're looking for, so that you can just put the student link onto the LMS like Google Classroom or Schoology or whichever LMS you might be using. But you do have to assign it first, which brings this next question. Do my students need access to Seesaw if I leave that student link on their Canvas, Google Classroom, Schoology, Flipgrid, Topic, etc.? Yeah, if you want them to access it, they're going to need to be a part of a classroom in Seesaw. What's really cool about Seesaw is once they start, like Sarah's Seesaw journals go back from preschool age 4 to now she's in 4th grade. So when you think about that, we actually have this whole web portfolio of Sarah learning to read. And I love that. I love to revisit that. That's in Seesaw for Schools. If you're doing the free version, at the end of the year, you can download the journal as a PDF and send it to the parents. So there's still ways always to get around it. Seesaw does a nice job with their free version. So activity, let's talk about choice boards, creating them within Seesaw that links out to various videos. So when you look at this, we're talking about a choice board. Now, I didn't create it in Google Slides. Can I? Of course I can. Can I just put the Google Slide link here? Of course you can. And have them go out into Google Slides. That's fine. It is like, I think Katie's been saying in the chat, there's like 25 different ways to do things. There's no one right way. It's the way that works best for you. We're just really thrilled to have the choice of 25 different ways to do things. So what I might be saying, here's how you do it. You might be saying, but I do it this way. That's awesome. That's awesome, because you got to do it what works best for you. So adapt in any way possible, because it's all about how you're going to get through this and how you're going to make this work. And that's the most important. So this activity choice board that you see here, when you look at the link on the bottom, these are links to these activities. So any activity I show you in this webinar, you go to the Wakelet and you have it. You can save it and you can adapt it and you can edit it, and you do not have to recreate it. These are all yours, and not all of them are in the library. That's why I'm sharing them. So when I look at this, how to make this, I apologize. This is like how to make this in 2 minutes, which is a little bit crazy. So I am going to try and slow it down a little bit, but I like took a 9-minute video and put it down to 2. So it's a little bit crazy, and I apologize for the craziness. But I started with Canva, and Katie talked about the course. Love Canva. In my Wakelet, I gave you the link to Canva, but I also give you the link where educators can sign up to get free Canva with a little bit more of the bells and whistles, because you're using your educator's address. So do look at that link. It does have some caveats though, so I'm not all sure of the caveats. So I just wanted 3 things. I wanted the sticky notes, the bulletin board, and the clipboard. And then when I went to download it, don't forget it has a background remover. Love Canva. But all I needed here was just to hit transparent background and then download it as a PNG file. So it did that. And then I started by creating a new activity. So I hit the plus button, assign activities, and then you click create. That's a little unintuitive to me. I wish it had just create activities right there. So I went into the template. Well, first I labeled it. Then I went into the template and uploaded the file and put in the bulletin board. Now I like to upload the file because it will automatically lock it for you, which I love that about Seesaw. It's going to lock the thing you upload. So it's locked, but I didn't need to unlock it actually and move it around, so I did. Then I just dragged in the sticky note, because you just drag it in. Look at that. It has that transparent background because Canva downloaded it that way. Thank you. It is a little bit like it does have the extra space in it, and I bet Katie could go on the chat to tell you in Canva, if you want to get rid of that extra space, do this, this, this. And I'm banking on her to answer that one. So that extra space drives me nuts. So I wanted 5 little sticky notes with tags. Now I was going to take this little minion video, okay? So this is the banana song, and it has the rhythms of the minion that's using the little horn. So I'm like, yay. So that has that. So I have the YouTube, there it is. I'm going to stop right there. So I have the YouTube link on the top, and I did the little YouTube trick. And if you need to see it, that link is there in the Wakelet to how to do this, but just put the hyphen between the URL in YouTube, between the letters T and U. Many of you already know this, I know. And the question is, does this work for every link? No, it does not, especially if the creator of the link clicked on in their settings that they don't want you to share this on anything but YouTube. It won't work. However, I gotta say 75 to 80% of the time, this little trick works. And the reason I say it is that way I can put this link in here. So I take that link, it's like the no cookie link, and I can just put it right in, and then I took a screenshot. Now, normally, I don't know what I was thinking here. If you just put the link in, it will put in a thumbnail. But my goodness, Seesaw picks the strangest thumbnails, and those who have used it to try to do screen recordings of yourself, you know what I mean. I mean, it chooses like the worst, it like finds the worst picture of you inside your video and uses that as your thumbnail, and you can't change it. You have to actually put something over it. So here is, I did the same thing with the Angry Birds, did the YouTube trick, and just put it right in there so that here's the thing with YouTube, or sorry, with Seesaw, to click on it, you think you click on the minions, or you think you click right on the picture. You actually don't. Do you see how the link is to the side? It's always going to put that little link right there to the side. And because it puts that little link to the side, you have to tell the students to actually click on that little link icon, not on the picture. And that's just not very intuitive for us, because normally we're clicking on things to go places. So there is some little tutorials you'll have to give the students. And then once it's all done, I put in the instructions. So here's the thing I like to do, and this is just me personally. I can do, there's view instructions, and I can put the instructions on the front, but I love using the emoji keyboard so that I can just put these instructions in with the emoji symbols. Now on a Mac, in the text box, all I have to use is Control Command Space, and the emoji keyboard comes up like this. Sarah could probably tell you there's a website you could go to get the emoji keyboard to come up, because it seems like the students in her class know this intuitively. And then I like to do that. I like to have my instructions on the page. They don't have to actually view instructions. Just put it right there. That's what I like to do with the emojis. The emoji symbols are so similar to the ones that you do in the actual activity instructions. So what am I talking about? So I copy and paste. I'm talking about these. And I just pasted them in. Now, if you know Seesaw, you know they actually have their own emojis, and it's right here on the top. Like if it's add response, I'm going to put colon, add colon, and then it will put the add response emoji set in there right. It was just coming up right there, as you can see it right there. So that's great too. And I included in the Wakelet the icons and shortcuts for Seesaw. But I also just like to use the emojis. The students get the emojis and they understand what they mean. So I tend to go with the emoji keyboard, sometimes more than the Seesaw icon shortcut. So this one here is an activity library choice board, but it's created within Seesaw. So I'm going to show this one. I'm going to jump right into Sarah's journal. So we're going to come on in. Sarah's very aware of using her journal, and she gave me permission. So in this one, I created this one just last week, and I created this one so that it was for an asynchronous kindergarten and preschool. And what it is here is it links to the pages over here. So what I do is if I want ABC, the kids will click on the link and it'll bring them to ABC. And this I love Seesaw because the first thing I'm going to do is hit play. It will play even though the pencil is up. It seems to default to the pencil, but you actually will hit the play. I used Katie's video creation course to create this one, I think in module 2, Katie. And this one has the alphabet song. I used the G clef to bring it back home. So the heart song, now all these videos are embedded. Even this one, which I love, it's Mad Donna's Wheels on the Bus. Yep. Yes. Either you love me for that or hate me, so you're welcome. And then if you're happy and you know it. So all of these are embedded in. If I show you over here, you'll see that they're all, again, it has the worst thumbnails. I had to like stick this picture in over it. That's better than the thumbnail it gave me. But they're all over here. In this one here, this is embedded by using this Seesaw screen recording tool.
For this song, you can follow the spider and the other objects on the screen, or you could sing by using the words over here. It's up to you.
So everything's embedded, and that's on purpose. That's on purpose. I'm not linking out like the previous choice board, and here is why. When I jump over to the next slide, it's a question that we ask a lot in the Seesaw community. First of all, is there a benefit of uploading the video directly instead of linking out to another website? Yes. For your younger students, it's much nicer that they don't go out to YouTube or YouTube's blocked. So you just upload the video. So you can put one video per page and they can be up to 250 megabytes. If your video is larger than 250 megabytes, there's many different ways to reduce the size of the video. Obviously, it's going to reduce the video quality, but it will get it to be directly into Seesaw, and then your students just click play instead of play, and it launches them out into the internet, into a browser, into a tab, whatever it might launch them out to. So how did I get Madonna video? That was asked of me this week. I'm going to put copyright aside just so I can tell you how to do it, and then you need to decide on the copyright. So for items, you know, if you Googled, how do I download a YouTube video, you'll find probably, I don't know, what, 1 million ways to do it. You can do that. You can use your screen recording tools like Loom, Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, Flipgrid, WeVideo, you name it, it's you know it probably, and you could record it, like hit play in YouTube and just have it record. And then save those, download them, and then upload it right into Seesaw, or put it in your Google Drive and then just put it right into Seesaw. It will work, and I just like it better that way. Now that was putting aside copyright. Putting back in copyright, you really need permission to do that. One of the things, again, I bring it back to Denise Gagne, who is amazing. When we went into a lockdown, a pandemic, and her classic site didn't have these individual links, she gave permission as long as you were we were in the pandemic and you were using something close-knit like Seesaw, kind of on the, you know, because it's you know, password protected and needs logins or QR codes to get into. She was okay with you screen recording her Musicplay videos to use, so you just directly uploaded them. But again, it's to get that permission. And then this one here is, what is the benefit of creating the activity inside of Seesaw? They just don't have to click out. I mean, I think that's really important. Now let's look at how to screen record in Seesaw.
Seesaw will allow one video per page that's sized 250 megabytes or less. And to screen record within Seesaw isn't too bad, actually. I kind of like how it's done. So to do that, we're going to use the hand tool there, get my little spider ready, go ahead and hit the microphone and start record. Now you'll notice a little arrow has come here. This arrow is great because you can actually use it to point to things on the screen. So this is a great little tutorial, but you never see the arrow until you hit the microphone. Now to record, I'm going to go back to the hand tool and bring the spider up. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. You click done. And now you have a video. Now you can go and insert that onto another page. This is, unfortunately, can't be done in iOS. Every time do you do that too? You don't grab the hand tool. There we go. So you can copy and paste it here onto its own page, and you have it and lock it. But if you're on an iOS device, you can't copy and paste, even if you have a keyboard, like an attachable keyboard. It just won't do it. You have to do that on some sort of device like a laptop or a desktop.
So I love the way it does that, and I never noticed that pointer tool until I was doing that. Do you hear all the clicks and items like that? I use the internal microphone on that. I've been trying not to, especially when giving view instructions inside of Seesaw. You know how when you click the record my instructions and you start recording? Using the internal mic just brings out all those clicks and clicks as you just heard. If you go into, like if you're using a Chrome browser, go into the settings of Chrome and tell it to find the USB mic you have plugged in. When you do that and then you record your instructions into Seesaw, you won't get all those clicks anymore. But I realized it wasn't the devices. I actually had to go into the Chrome web browser when I was using that to Chrome to tell it to go find it in Seesaw. It's interesting, and I didn't know that. Sarah Burns, it is time for you to log off and head upstairs to go to bed. I know you've been shouting. Thank you so much for answering the questions, honey. You are the best. It's time for bed. All right, so now the activities, adding tabs. So adding tabs is a great way to keep the students organized in one activity. It's also a really beautiful presentation tool. So for example, here, in this one, we're jumping in, and it's a recorder book. And if you look at it, I'm sorry, there's a misspelled word, and it comes because buns, burns. So it, like, you're going to see it right here. It's going to jump into the tab into a wrong right there. But here, this is like a recorder book. So it shows you kind of like, here's one from Visual Musical Minds, and I just inserted it in. Perfect. And then on Hot Cross Buns, Sarah could write in the note names here on the red tab and then record herself. So that's great. The students can write in the note names and put their own video of them playing on it. And then, of course, the home gives them the fingering chart. So I even gave you one here on the bottom of this page. That link actually gives you a little bit bigger of a book. And so those are just tabs that are linking to different pages, but it just looks really good. And again, I credit Chris Shiner. Chris Shiner was a kindergarten teacher, and now he's hired by Seesaw. I think they've watched his YouTube videos so much to find out all of these little tricks that I'm showing you tonight he was doing with kindergartners, and I started adapting them. Following him on Twitter and YouTube is really amazing to do, because he just does so much great stuff. So here, this is how we made the tabs. You go into the drawing tool, and then you change the background. This is how I did it. And then I added a shape. And that shape, I suggested by Chris, I love the rounded edges. And then made it look like a page, like, you know, kind of a cover around a page. And then I again added more of the same shape with the rounded edges. And I locked that, of course. But yes, we know students can unlock it. That's something we keep asking Seesaw, like, allow this to not be unlocked. Give us that option, please, as teachers. So this is how I took the tab. I just did the same thing, and I put it over at the side. Then I ordered it, sorry, it's order here to the back, so that it kind of just shows up like that. Then I just I double click to get the text tool out. We have rhythm pattern number 1. And then I can just click on it, and I like the style that looks like that, so it doesn't have that outline on it. And then I like it that you can just resize it so it fits right into where you're going. And that's your tab. Your tab can link to another page, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to make the page red, but it's very odd here in Seesaw. It never has a red background. Has anyone ever noticed that? So I go with this pinkish one as close as I can to red. Let me know if I'm missing the red background. I've never found it. Again, I always hit the little pencil tool half the time. Those who use Seesaw activities a lot, I'm assuming you do that too. If not, I guess it's just me. And then it links right over to page 2. So that's what the tabs do. They do these really nice, beautifully kind of organizing way, like you were seeing in some of my other ones. And again, you just keep adding tabs, and it looks really, really good. And I think it's a nice organizational tool. And again, you can layer some more, and then if you layer the white on top, you'll be able to write the instructions much nicer. So that's adding tabs. Here are some of the tab activities I give you for Seesaw today. So the recorder book, you get that one. I just threw it in there. There's a tab template. You have that one. So if you don't want to create what I just did, just grab the tab template and readapt it. Born in the USA, this one's really cute because it's a play along. So I love these play along videos, but I really want them a little bit more with the meat and potatoes of this, where they go through and record themselves playing the page. One of the things you have to remind them is they must press check when they're done, or you're going to have this very long one video going through 8 pages. Instead, you can go through it and then just kind of goes into just, one recording per page. And of course the dance break. And then that's the play along. And I just recorded myself playing the piano and added the drum track. So it doesn't have any of the vocals in it or things like that. But I like this because that helps me really assess the kids. Same with Roller Coaster. And these are New Jersey musicians. If you can't tell, I'm from New Jersey. And there's a reason that we're studying New Jersey musicians. So it's the same thing, but this is one of his more recent hits, Bon Jovi. And this is using Roller Coaster. But I really liked using whole rest. This was a great way to practice whole rest, especially if you're using more of a Kodai approach. And then this one here is the Martin Luther King. So in the Martin Luther King one here, there's tabs, and this one, it shows you some of the resources we were using in class. And then it's showing you here that little way. Now this is what's going to be fixed in the next few days. This is me making little tiny audio. Now you'll be able to just click add audio to that.
Ta.
Yeah, adding audio to it, which is so nice. So it goes through all of that. It talks about writing a circle map, and then they create a phrase from the circle map and a rhythm pattern from it. So those are some of the tab activities that I have shared with you so that you can just take them if you want and enjoy them. Now, spinners and dice. I know I'm going into a lot. I told you it's a dessert buffet. Spinners and dice, because spinners and dice are really cool. And the Wheel of Names is one of my favorites, obviously. So if you look at this, this is from the Wheel of Names. So you can do the simple method, which is to use Loom and make a video recording of about 60 seconds of the spinner from Wheel of Names. So you can add pictures, you can add text, you can even add emojis. And I'm using the note image generator to make those pictures. So I took those note generators, and then I can change the music around. I can make it 60 seconds. And that's the simple way. I love the simple way. So you record this, just record it like that after you've customized it, and go ahead and add the video into the Seesaw page, and you've got it. It works. I mean, that's the easiest way. But if you want to do a technical one, I learned from Chris Shiner, you could make one and put it in PowerPoint, Google Slides, or Keynote. And what this is, as you can see, is I created a wheel, put on the images, and then once I got all of the wheel there, now Chris shows you this, use the pie, and this is a great tool to make the wheel. So you can use this pie tool, and it will create all of the little slices of the pie, and then you can create this wheel. Then you duplicate the slides till you have about 100 slides. And really what I did here was when I exported it as a movie, I just made sure right here, this part had the transitions. I didn't care about how I exported as long as the transitions were 0.33, like 0.3 of a second. And that's all I needed. And then it created the movie, and I just put that right into Seesaw. Dice is the same way. I was using a cube. And again, I think PowerPoint has this even better than Keynote, where you can lay this on the cube. So I was just laying the images on, doing the same thing, just working with the transitions on the animations here. Like it will go left to right, then right to left, and making sure I had 100 slides and changing around where the images went. This is a lot of work. Like I said, go to Wheel of Names, and it's a whole lot easier than doing all this. When Chris showed it, he used Google Slides with Creator Studio add-on. And Katie has shown this one as well in her Google Slides, and it's from Tall Tweets. And when it works, it's amazing. Unfortunately, I have not seen it consistently work. I really wish I've seen it consistently work enough to say use it, but it tends to just keep rolling and rolling, like the spins, and then never, I mean, like the processing wheel spins, and then it never comes back. So these that I've used here, you get these as well. So go ahead and grab them. The spinner on this, there's a spinner on this one for note names. And what I do with the activity, as you can say, is it says press play, press pause, and then write the note name, then repeat, then click check. So that one's not recording anything. It's just writing down the note names that they get. For something like this, they are pressing play and pause, and then they write it down. There's a lot of things like you can try to do the recording, but it's going to have a hard time with the media tool that's on there. That's why I tend to have them write, or I tend to have them just kind of, click, circle the pattern that's on there, or click write blue, and now click the microphone and perform the blue pattern. Because with the spinners as a video, once you press pause and then you go and like click the microphone, the video goes back to whatever the thumbnail was. So that's why I say write blue, because it's the blue pie, or circle the rhythm that it showed up, or write the rhythm. It's some way to help the students remember, because once they click the record button and perform it, it goes back to the thumbnail. It's good to know that. There's been a lot of countless hours of experimentation and having Sarah do these things, like try this, try this. Now, this one is, it shows in it drag and drop. So in this one, with the activities to share, there's a drag and drop on this one. And this is something, like I said, that they are going to improve. So I love this with the update. So if we go into the add response here, I kind of did an infinite cloner for all of my notebook friends who are still using Notebook. I envy you, but we're done with it at our school. But boy, that software for Smart Notebook is still something I sneak and use, the free version with the watermark all over the place, because they had the infant cloner, and the infinite cloner, infinite cloner was that you could just click on the image and say infinite clone. And it looked beautiful, and it cloned as many times. It was infinite. So now, I kind of make my own infinite cloner where I copy and paste a bunch so they come down almost in diagonal. And this is in the book, I highlight them all, and then I align them vertically in the center and align them horizontally in the center, and they'll come looking like this. So in this one, I like, because this shows the dice in action. Then you click it, and then you move it there. This dice is slow enough so that students with sensory issues won't affect them. Yes, it does allow the students to be able to just figure out which one they want. And again, once you move it, watch, the thumbnail goes back. I moved that way too far down the screen. The thumbnails goes back like that. So it's important to know that the thumbnail is going to come back and haunt your spinner and your dice. So you want to make sure that you're doing something in the activity that reminds them what it is they spun and got or rolled the dice. A huge shout out to Mercedes if she's on this. This is great. This activity is tremendous. Seesaw is going to hire you, Mercedes. My goodness. And I hope I'm saying your name right. I apologize. I didn't actually write you to say, please tell me how to say your name. So if I am saying it incorrectly, please correct me in the chat, and please let me know. And I sincerely apologize. Hers here, let me see, it's down here. This one, and Katie will recognize some of the images she used, because for the Midnight Music community, Katie gave us access to one of her Canva that had these great images, and it's make your own body percussion. So what I love that she does right here is she did this, I believe, in PowerPoint. Okay, so you pause it, and now you're going to move it here. And then do it. Look, this is brilliant. And from what I showed you tonight, not that difficult to make. These are tools inside a Seesaw, right? This is all inside a Seesaw. These are from Katie's Canva. This is she made in PowerPoint, and just by creating the slides and exporting it as a movie. And then she tells you, click the microphone and perform. Mercedes, this is brilliant. And thank you for sharing it, because she put this out, I think, on Twitter or Facebook, and I was like, that is brilliant. So big shout out to her. This next one is Erase to Reveal. Again, shout out back to Chris Shiner, because the Erase to Reveal, I really love this one. And what you do is you come in, and what you're supposed to do is erase to reveal. So pick out the eraser tool and erase, and has an image and it shows you, and you are to sing so la. So you would hit the microphone and it sings so la. So how would you know the starting pitch? Well, with this new update, you can leave a little icon there and they click on it and starting pitch is so, and see if they can hit your starting pitch. I can't wait for this update. There's so many unlimited things we can do with it. But the click to, the erase to reveal like that, to make it is not too challenging. This is how you do it. So to make the erase to reveal, I went into Canva to find this star that had nothing in it. So it was transparent inside. So I took it in Canva and I downloaded it with a transparent background and then put it over in Seesaw. So once I put it over into Seesaw, all I had to do, I needed a rhythm pattern. So I went to Rhythm Randomizer and told it I only wanted quarter notes, because then I knew it was going to give me 4 quarter notes. And then I just took a screenshot. So to do the erase to reveal, it's just about ordering. You're going to bring in your rhythm that you did from Rhythm Randomizer. This is on the Wakelet. I resize it down, and then I bring in what I did with the star, and then I'm going to put, this again is ordered, so the rhythm is ordered behind the star. I'm going to resize it. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is paint in the star. So I'll go over to the pencil tool, and it's a little weary for me to try and get the pencil to come out in the way that I could see the different size of the pencil point. And it just took me a while when I was trying to record this to do it. It's a little bit more intuitive than that you just saw. But I'll take a big one so that I can just color it in. And that's how you do the erase to reveal, because once you color it in, you just leave the instructions that they use the eraser and erase it, hit record, and record themselves performing that rhythm pattern. So it comes back to another one, and here's our final question. Can I place an accompaniment on the screen and have the students record with that accompaniment? It's like the $1 million question. And the answer is yes, but it's not greatly intuitive, and I'm going to show you in Sarah's journal. There's 3 different ways you can do this, because the comment tool is no longer applicable. That was the 4th way. So one is, you press the microphone, press view instructions, press play, and you sing after me. So you would go into here exactly as those instructions just said, and it's really helpful that you put them on the screen for this type of thing. Press the microphone, all right, we start recording, press view instructions, press play twice, and then you sing after me.
Sing after me. There are pumpkins.
There are pumpkins on the ground. And then you have to hit, now sometimes it glitches here. I almost do this, like you can see it's glitching a little bit right now on the screen, because you have to hit it twice. It has that glitch, I gotta tell you, but it did it. It's still recording. We're gonna hit done. And you do have it. It's a recording of me singing back with me. It's a recording of me singing with an accompanying file. The sound quality is not great. Start recording, press view instructions, press play twice, and then you sing after me. There are pumpkins on the ground, and then you have, so it works. It's not greatly intuitive, meaning like you are sitting there going, I have to explain this to the kids. Yeah, it's one you would have to explain, and it's one you would have to kind of video yourself doing, I think, to show younger students how to do it, but it does work. The second way is, instead of the microphone, click the video camera. Does the same thing. And the third way is called jump the tab. meaning you come in here and you're going to click the link. And when you click the link, when you click this link, it opens a tab, and then you would press record, come over here, press play, sing along. When you're done, jump the tab back and click done on the recording. And that works as well. And that is what I affectionately call jumping the tab. I know, right? Even Seesaw laughed at that when I saw that on Twitter. So that does work. Not as intuitive as we like, but it does work. Does this work on iOS devices? I know some of you are writing that, and no. Unfortunately, no, it doesn't. So I included this screenshot here because if you want to do this on an iOS device, they're just going to have to screen record, or you need 2 devices. So we've done it both ways, where my students screen record, meaning it needs to be added to the control center. And if they're working on school issued devices, that's probably challenging because you're going to have to ask IT to figure that out, or you're going to have to try and explain it to them. Maybe they're tech savvy enough to do it, depending on the age, depending on the environment, it might work. But you know, it's going to be a challenge. I fear a challenge coming. And then you always have to remind them to hold down that record button right here, because the microphone isn't always on. It depends how each device is defaulting, and you have to remember to turn it on so that you can hear them sing. If not, it's only going to record what's the sounds coming from the iPad. The other way is I've had students do it is mom is sitting there with her device recording her child, who is recording into Seesaw. I know, I wish. It's like the ultimate question, isn't it? Especially with all our different teaching scenarios and how they're ever changing. And then sharing an activity. Now again, to share to the library, you have to be a Seesaw ambassador. But sharing an activity, you can just share the activity link. And you can, I apologize, that looks like an old graphic, and I thought I updated that a while ago. You can get the activity link to share with teachers. So in our Facebook group, Seesaw for Music Teachers, many just share their activities, and we're not going through the ambassador and library. And that way we know we're getting music teacher activities that are used by music teachers with music students. So definitely join that group. As I come up to the end now, just want to remind you that this update is coming this week. So like for the recording of the voice, up to 20 different recordings on the page, this is really great. Like, again, you can listen to your starting pitch as one of your ideas, or students can use it just to record simple songs and phrases and more. You could actually put phrases up there, and they're supposed to order it in the proper phrase, and you've recorded yourself singing it so they know and listen and put it all together. Your call and response can be done really well. There's just so much you can do with these new little individual recordings. Again, that's in the free or paid version, up to 20 recordings per page. The difference in the paid version is you can have up to 20 pages in an activity. We're finally able to now we're talking. We're finally able, thanks Stanley, to be able to do this, which is upload MP3s, M4As, and WAV files. We've been waiting for this. And then again, I circled the ultimate question there. Can you play audio while recording? No, not at this time. I'm hoping of the power of yet, and that we'll be able to do it at some point. We just keep telling them you need this. They do listen so much to their teachers. And then here, it's the whole lock size of labels, images, and shapes. This is going to be nice for sorting, like you're doing an instrument sort. This is going to be a little bit nicer. Now, will the students still be able to maneuver some of this? I'm wondering. I haven't seen this part of the update to know that. We all have those students who delete pages, do everything they possibly can to frustrate us a little bit more because we work so hard on that activity. I hope they don't mean to frustrate us. Many of them just are like, oops, sorry. And we forgive them, of course, because we've done it ourselves. But there's so much there you can do. Drag and drop melodies in order, drag and drop composition, sorting instrument families. And again, they have put this caveat up there. So if your students are using iOS devices, remind them to update, because it looks like they're not turning on the updates for iOS and Android. I feel they're implying they won't do it unless they see a lot of updates going on. I think it's just to make it easier on their end as well. And again, you want more training on that, that is in the Wakelet. Again, the Wakelet is just a list of all my links that you're seeing on the slideshow. Whew, that was a lot. I gave you a lot. That's why I said bring a notebook so that you could, or whatever device you're using, so you could say, I want to try a spinner and I'm going to use Wheel of Names and do what she said. Cool. Awesome. Or, you know what? I'm just going to take all our activities and look at them later. Awesome. Great. Do it. Or if you're like, I'm going to take our activities and put my Bitmoji in it, please do. They don't need to see me on your screen. No. Do your own Bitmoji. But I gave you a dessert. So take just a little item here and there. That's all you need. You don't need to eat the entire buffet. There's a lot going on there. And again, this past September, the book came out. You can find it on Amazon, and the link is also there. And Cherie was on. I did see her. So Cherie, hello. You're amazing. Thank you for letting me share one of your activities. And now, Katie, I'm going to try to stop sharing this screen, but I have no idea. I'm going to do this. I did it.
Yay. I think I've unmuted myself. Awesome. Well done. Thank you so much, Amy. I know everybody is giving you a round of applause along with me, even though we can't hear anyone except me. That was amazing.
Sarah can be a chat queen. And I was like, when I was watching some of my own, like myself was recorded, I was looking at this and like, oh no. And I can't call out, Sarah, stop it.
She was very sweet. She was active. That's okay though.
I'm so sorry.
She says she wants to be a music teacher when she grows up, so that was all lovely.
She is a sweetheart. She is a sweetheart. And she means her heart is in the best place.
Yeah. She clearly loves this. Otherwise, she wouldn't even bother being on. My boys just go, yeah, whatever. We don't care what you're doing right now. We're busy playing PlayStation or something.
Well,
oh my gosh!
Perturbed by it. I do apologize. She has a heart of gold, and
no, she was totally fine. She was totally fine. Few questions rolling in. Debbie says brava, so well done, and Julie says thank you so much, merci. Some questions. Dumb question from Kathy. Not dumb at all. No silly questions ever. Which is, do laptops automatically update? Yes, it will, because it's a web version that you just log into. So web versions of anything are awesome, and IT people love them because they just magically update, and the IT people don't have to do anything. And it's the iOS or Android app kind of versions which they or you or the students have to update. So yeah, that was a lot, says Debbie.
Sorry.
Yes, it was. No, and look, you are the same as me. I do exactly the same thing. I get so excited about all the things I want to share, so I just end up, sharing a lot of stuff. But you go back to it.
We're reaching everyone. Like, we are teachers, and our class needs to be all inclusive. So I'm going to reach the person who's just looking at Seesaw to the person who's like, I follow Krishna, I know everything. Like Mercedes.
Yeah, everything. Yes, I know.
So to reach Mercedes.
And a few did say that they were here to learn about Seesaw. Like, they didn't know. I think Jennifer, who's just commented, I think she said she was one who didn't know much about Seesaw. Mario was on, who teaches teachers like me. So I think he was coming to check it out and see what it was all about. So yeah, fantastic. I love it. And just to remind everybody, it's been recorded, so you can go back to the recording. It's actually on YouTube automatically. So if you're on the page where you're watching the webinar, you can click on the title of the YouTube embedded video and it will take you on to YouTube, and then you could just save that link for later on. If you signed up for the webinar, and got a notification via email about the link and that sort of thing, we will actually send you out a link to the recording of the webinar too. Question from Dale. Yes, the video course is absolutely still available. I think it's so funny because I've been putting it together, and when I was putting the course modules together, I was thinking, I'm sort of planning on getting them week by week released, available to everybody. And still, Module 5 is still to come in the next couple of days. I'm still working on the last couple of videos for that. But when I was doing it, I thought, this is going to take the teachers who are doing the course quite a while to do each of the projects for the modules. And I think everybody's done that. They've started and gone, oh, this is taking a while, but it's so useful. So yes, and it's just ongoing. There's no deadline for the course. It doesn't disappear after a certain time. So it's available through the community. When you log in, you'll see it there. You'll also get access if you join to the Canva course. You'll get access to Amy's Seesaw course when it comes out as well. Everything's all in there. So, yeah, it is definitely still available. I'm just going to check through the latest questions. You can chat for a minute, Amy. I'm not good at multitasking, I don't reckon.
I'm going to go from bottom up, so thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, good.
Oh, yeah.
Karen or Karen, not sure how pronunciation, is just confirming. So we will be able to upload an MP3, but students will not be able to record anything while they listen to it.
You got
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
The holy grail,
Correct.
right?
I know. It's like you get some of the boxes ticked, but not all of them. They're just going to keep you hanging for a minute. At least that's something that's improved, at least. Mary says, thank you, Marie, and Cherie. Thank you, Cherie, for coming along. Lovely to see you. Not really see you, but lovely that you were here. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Kathy, Heidi, Debbie. Already said that. Yes, Stephanie. Just checking for any other questions. Bev's screen just froze. Hopefully it's back again. Hello. Oh, Phil's joined in. I think Phil's starting the webinar later, but that's okay. Excellent. Great. Thanks, Mario from Portugal. Lovely. How excellent.
That's awesome.
Asta says they could listen to the audio, play along and upload a video elsewhere. Yeah, if they have two devices, that's kind of like the easiest thing in terms of playing audio and capturing audio, no matter whether you're using Seesaw or anything else.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a challenge because not everybody has two devices handy. But yes, if they did have two devices, that would be really easy to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We can't assume, and that's. I mean, I can assume my students, but when I do a webinar like this, I cannot assume.
No, I hate making any assumptions at all. But,
yeah,
it can be hard, you know. No, that's right. And I think this is the challenge. This whole listening and recording at the same time thing. This is actually one of the things I'm covering in Module 5 for the video creation course, because we're talking about making a virtual choir or virtual ensemble video. And that's exactly what you need to do for that project. So your students have to listen to a backing track of some kind, and then they need to video record themselves on another thing. And that is something you really do need two devices for. It's very challenging to do it on a single device. So, yeah, that's how I have recommended two devices, get that going. So, so a virtual choir project may not be an option for you if your students don't have access to two devices. That's just one thing. Bev, Wheel of Names, it's brilliant. I'm planning on making a whole tutorial, a video about Wheel of Names. There's a customization button. If you go into that area, I don't have it open right in front of me, but if you go into that, there is a place where you can upload images onto each of the wedges of the wheel. That's how Amy and I have done it in the past. So you can either upload individual notes or rests or citation, or Amy and I have both done the experiment where we've got like a 4-beat rhythm, I should say, and put that into one wedge. So you just need to make the notation and capture the whole 4 beats in one as a screenshot and then upload that. And both Amy and I have used, I'll grab the link for this one, but Rhythm Randomizer is a great place to generate notation quickly. If you don't want to open up Sibelius or Noteflight and make all the notation yourself, just use this.
I need it like in under a minute, and that's what I showed you doing with the erase to reveal. So I went over to Rhythm. I'm like, just give me a 4-beat pattern.
Like, just make it so.
I mean,
thanks, Karen.
It has for me, it has to be quick. Due to the in-person restrictions, I'm either cleaning or teaching or monitoring a class. It's rare I have a break during the day right now, and it has to be under a minute if I'm going to do anything.
Yes, I agree. Rhythm Randomizer. So when you visit that website, I could totally just share my screen. Hold on a second. I keep forgetting we have technology here.
We're on this platform. It should work, right?
I'll leave us on as well. So Rhythm Randomizer, this is the one. Basically, you visit the website. It has some settings in place already, and every time you click the screen, you get a new rhythm, or you can click the new rhythm button. They didn't have that until recently, and no one could work out how to get the new rhythm. You just click on the screen. But if you go into the settings here, you can choose which note values you do or don't want. So you can make it quite complex or really quite easy. And recently they've added a playback function. So in the past it was just visual only, and now they've added a metronome that you can get started if you actually want your students to use this to practice rhythms, which is its intention. But you can just uncheck things. So you could just have, quarter notes, no rests at all, get rid of those, and maybe just, joined up eighth notes, and that's it, I think. Let me go to there. So then when I generate a new rhythm, it will just give me those options. And here's a tip this is what I do. See how this rhythm is kind of spread out, because I'm on a big monitor and it's kind of spread out across the whole screen. I make this smaller like this before I take the screenshot. And then I just kind of adjust the size so it looks a little bit more normal. I don't know. Anyway, you can play with that, and that works quite well.
I see on the chat, it was from Maria, that troubleshooting. I have had many students who initially submit work part 1 and then access is lost to their activity, as well as I get a message that no work has been submitted. It's really interesting. And it's hard to troubleshoot that one. And so here's just some things I've run into. One is, it's kind of go to the IT first, if you have an IT and if you have a helpful IT. Those are two very separate issues. To see if something's going on in the network. Sometimes that's just not even you. Or your students. It's just something on the network. Another is that whole thing I was talking about, the comments. It really drove us nuts. We thought we were commenting on work, and then students like, you never turned it. I can't find it. You didn't cut it, and turns out it's like all in the notifications. So you check the notification. It's really weird. And the notifications, not like you come into Seesaw and here's like you're used to your social media, like, boom, here's your notifications. So Seesaw, it's like, hey, it's that tab way over there in the corner. Click on it. And it's like, it's over there. Like Chris Russell, Dr. Russell, Chris. And he was like, he kept showing me screenshots of his kids having the comments. I'm like, Chris, I can't find it. And if you find it and I can't, how is it that I can't find it? And so like, check the notifications. Sometimes things start disappearing. Sometimes they're only in that tab and they're not anywhere else. If you have drafts, it can get weird like that. Remember, blue it needs to be approved, but draft orange means it could kind of be in this limbo. So check all those things. And if you can, make yourself a student. You really need to look at the student point of view from something like that. And most teachers I know, because when I've said that, they're like, they don't let me be a student because that charges them another student. And I totally get it. And that is really frustrating. I would say open a free separate account and do exactly what you're doing and make yourself a student with another email and just test it off on that account. See what's going on from the student end. It's really important to see it.
Yeah, agreed. I actually have student accounts set up for every single thing that I ever show. I just have another account and then I go in an incognito browser and I log in because I always need to see, you can't troubleshoot effectively for students unless you know what they're seeing. And it's too hard to say, send me a screenshot or, make a Loom video to show me because it's never going to work. So sample student, And some services, I've noticed that a couple of services have started to add that functionality where you do get a student. What is it recently? Is it Google Classroom or something like that?
Well, I do
feel
want
like
to
one recently.
The sample student flaw there in Seesaw. So sample student is great to demonstrate an activity. It's amazing because it's a sample student and you have to turn it on in the settings. It did not work for this whole comment issue because you can't go in as a sample student and see what the sample student saw. Like, again, it's just there to help you demo something to the student. But when it comes down to what the student saw, the sample student stops short. And it really drove us for about a week. It drove a few of us into like a frizzy because we were just like, this is like, Chris, how do you see this? And we don't see, what are you, do a screen recording. We try to see what you did.
And he's good. He's good with tech.
He was great. He was just like, but Amy, it's here. I'm like, but Chris, it's not. And I was like doing screen recording. Where is it?
And then it's another thing that you have to try, like you said, you have to train the kids to go there and look, give them, I don't know, some incentive to go and look in these places. It's very hard. I know it's hard enough when I'm working with adults, like just to make things very clear. And it's a flaw. I think it's ultimately a flaw in design because I think if things are not easy to find straight up without having to go and read instructions or ask someone else, then I think there's a flaw somewhere in the design for basic things like that. So the test for me of any new website or app that I look at is I go for it as long as I can without looking up any instructions, no tutorials, no help manuals and stuff. And I see how far I can get and what I can do with it. Because if I can do quite a bit, then I know it's a good website. It's designed well and the user interface is working. But yeah, sometimes you don't get that. You don't get that. Just checking. Michael says, what is the YouTube trick? I'm not sure what that one's. What was that reference?
Yeah, that is, so you take a YouTube video that you like, and then, so I'll show you. Let me see.
Oh, yes, we can do this.
I can. Now, which one am I sharing? Okay, so I'm going to go to screen one, and then, sharing us, aren't I? But I'm going to jump over here. That should show this tab. Is it?
Hold on. I'll switch out. We'll just switch over to this. There we go. Oh, that's me still. Hold on. I'll remove mine.
What are we showing right now?
Again?
I see us. You know what? I'll go back. Oh, no, that's no good. All right.
I like this view, actually. This is good.
I'll stop sharing that and share. Hold on. This one. So the YouTube trick is putting the, here we go. I'm going to share this one. It's putting the hyphen between T and U. That's what it is. So I'm going to share this one, which makes it much nicer. There we go. And so if I'm on YouTube and I want the beatbox flute player, Greg, right? Greg Patillo, beatbox flute player. So you go into it. Yeah, him. He's awesome. So you go into this one and you just don't want the ads and you don't want the comments or anything like that. So you go over here to the top. Oh, good. I don't know what the orchestra in my mouth. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, no, that's a good one. That's Tom Thumb. Yeah. It's a beatboxing one. Such a talk.
But thank you. Okay, just good to know. So between the T and the U, put a hyphen, then hit return. What it's going to do is turn it into this YouTube -note cookie. So now there's no comments, there's no ads, and when it hits the end, it will just loop back to the beginning. And you can use this link instead. Again, I say that with the kind of just, again, that's just showing you something basic there of that. Yes, there's copyright issues. Yes, some people, they're monetizing, so you're taking away from their monetizing. Yes, you are. I'm not saying that's what you should do for that reason. I'm saying that's a YouTube trick.
Very useful, Anne. Very useful.
Yeah, I like that one. I like it. That one's great. And, where we've had some issues with some of the cleaner, like to clean up the ones, the one I'm talking about, it's no longer in existence. But it took all the links that you created in their like free app, and then someone hacked it, and then hacked it, and then hacked it. Like it got hacked 3 times in 1 month. All your links were going to, sometimes, thank God, my links went to math websites. The kids did not enjoy that. They were like, I wanted to see Star Wars gym teacher do a dance. And I got equations. Mr. Burns, that's not what I go for.
It's better than something else that's not so clean.
But others told me that they did not have the same luck that I did. And if you know who I'm talking about, that they've changed it. But anything that's kind of free, it's going to have its issues. It's going to get the hacks and it's going to get that. So I kind of like this. This one seems to be kind of a behind the scenes way to change it. But again, nothing's foolproof. And I make that disclaimer right now.
Yeah. And Kathleen's also just mentioned that occasionally using that YouTube trick, it ends up being a link that some school districts will block because of their filters and stuff. So it may not work for you. And tip, as always with everything, is to not just try something at home when you're preparing your things. Make sure you test it out before class in on your school network. So get to school, test
Yeah.
things out. I do this actually. I have run into problems. I know now to be prepared for it, but I've run into problems when I'm presenting, running a workshop of some sort, because well, maybe not in the last 12 months, but usually I'm going out to different locations. And sometimes I get to a school and I'm planning on showing these 10 different websites or whatever it is. And I find that I can't because of the school filter where I'm located for this workshop. So I often do send through a list of things I'm going to show. Hopefully I've got the full list because often I'm preparing, half an hour before I do the workshop too. But send through a list. I get the person at the school to check it while, before I get there. So yeah, but it's taken me years to kind of realize and remember to do that ahead of time. So
I think with our current ever-changing teaching situations, many of us who have gone back in some sort of in-person mode are reduced to being on carts because we've had to space out and lost our rooms. And so that makes it very challenging to test because each room in your
could be anything. Yeah,
could be anything. Believe me, I can't even take a phone call in my classroom anymore. So that's where, even though downloading the video has these copyright issues, I think fair use for education has to come into play there because your teaching situation has changed so drastically. Every 40 minutes that you're going to a class or an hour or whatever your timing is, that downloading would be required.
Yeah. It's funny, and I do download occasionally videos, and the main time that I do it is just when I'm presenting, say, a keynote speech to a few hundred people. You do not want to be relying on a connection for your YouTube video to play at that point. So it makes sense to do it for that time. I'm not sharing it anywhere. I'm not selling, putting it whatever. But it is against YouTube terms and conditions, but I agree. It's that thing that happens where you just need to ensure that things are going to work when you need them to work. And absolutely in the last, 12 months, things have been crazy. So you've got to just do things to help yourself out, make life a little bit easier.
Denise was so wonderful because I asked her point blank, I want to use this and doesn't have a link and would you mind? And she wrote publicly, during a pandemic, using it on Seesaw that way is fine. And I was like, you're the best.
Yeah, we love people who do that. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, I think we'll better wind up. We've gone on. I was thinking coming into today's session, I was thinking, I bet Amy's really succinct and she's probably, going to cover everything in an hour, and mine always go on for way too long. And I'm always impressed when people hang around till the end. So for those of you who are still here, thank you. But, it's been like normal. It's like us chatting at the end. We could go on all day.
Well, we started 10 minutes in. So I went about hour 10, hour 15 around there. And I thought that's about what you do. So I thought,
yes, no, it's fine. It's totally fine. I figure people can catch up with the recording and watch a little bit, a batch later on.
Yeah, because it is a lot. And I don't mean to stress anyone out. That's never my goal.
Thank you, everyone. Bev Barron's just confirming where the hyphen goes. It goes between the U and the T.
And
the T and the U, sorry.
T and the U.
So you're right. You grab your YouTube link and you will put your cursor after the T of YouTube and add the hyphen in there. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah.
Doesn't work
it's
on
hard
all.
to sort of demo it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's on all. The creator can say, they can check a box saying this is not allowed to be shared on any other site. And when they do that, even your ViewPure, none of those, even your Google Slides won't work.
Yeah.
They've checked that.
Asta's already tested it and emailed her team about it and has had her mind blown. Great.
I'm so good. You get something out of it. That's one of the things that, when it came across I think it was Seesaw that put it out on November.
Yeah.
I was
I think I saw it then too.
Use this.
Nancy's, just before we wind up, Nancy's just asked about how to download a YouTube video. So Nancy, you can literally Google download YouTube video. The thing that I will caution against, well, two things. I will say it is against YouTube's terms and conditions, but for educational purposes in the confines of your classroom, let's just say you're going to do that. Find one of those websites. But when you go to there's many websites that will pop up saying that they will offer this service to you. they will all disappear over time. So whichever one you used last week will not be there next week. I'll say that for a start, because it's against YouTube's terms and conditions, so they take them down. If you do find one, you usually pop a link into a box of some sort and then press a button which says download. Now, the thing is, with all of these websites, they seem to have about 7 trillion adverts on them, and it's very easy to get confused about which is the actual download button, because some will say download and it takes you to then some random website and it's an advert. Don't do this in front of your kids, all that sort of thing. So it's kind of hard. I will say what I've done in the past, if it's a total emergency for me to have the video locally on my laptop for a keynote speech in front of a few hundred people where it needs to work, you can actually screencast. So I will open up the video on my web browser, press record in my screencasting software, make sure that capture system audio is turned on, or tab audio, and record it. I make a video of the video. It's ridiculous, but it's the thing that ensures I'm not going to, fall over in front of a few hundred people in my presentation. So I know most people I know who present frequently, we all do that method. So it's just the easier way. Yeah. So if it's a long YouTube video, you have to leave your screencasting software recording for as long as the video records. And then I trim the ends off nicely and add a fade in and a fade out, and it looks beautiful. Get rid of any ads that played at the beginning, all that. Anyway, there you go. And Dale's got an option for Mac that he's mentioned as well a couple of times in the comments. So yeah. Now, I got rid of a couple of the links at the very top of the chat window just to clean it up a little bit so it didn't take up so much room on the page. But I'm just going to share one more Wakelet link with you, which is a collection of all the links that I've mentioned today. So things like the video course page, the Seesaw course page if you want to sign up because you'd like to do Amy's course in middle of the year, the Canva course, I can't remember what else. There's a few things on there. So you can visit that link. I've just popped it into the window there. That also has a link to a Google form where I am asking you to vote on the next topic for next month's webinar. I'll tell you what the 3 options are just verbally so you can go and vote for which one. The first one is lesson ideas you can steal from TikTok, because I'm kind of obsessed with TikTok and I think it is the most creative platform out of all of them at the moment. And there's so much awesome stuff going on if you know where to look and what to look for. So I'm going to do this. You'll probably see podcast episodes come out that I will make about TikTok, but also that is one of my webinar suggested topics. I'm curious to know if that's a thing that other people will be interested in or if people are just going to roll their eyes. There's some great stuff on there. Anyway, that's one option. The second option is digital online whiteboards. So the 2 main ones I'm going to cover if we do that one is Jamboard and whiteboard.chat. I will briefly mention in passing whiteboard.fi, but I'm going to concentrate on the other 2. And I don't know what the last one is. I've forgotten already. There's only 3. How hard is it? Hang on, I'm checking. The third one is, super useful Chrome extensions for music teachers. There you go. All right. Phew. Go and vote in the form. It's on that Wakelet collection that I've just posted. And thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Amy, for doing this today. Amy really helped me out because I was just going nuts with the video course.
I don't know how you're doing it.
I have not had a lot of sleep.
The production of your modules. I'm like, she only did this like in a month. How? Like that took like months to do.
I have never made so many videos. I've never made so many in such a short amount of time. It's been insane. I tell you what though, I am really quick at making videos now.
You probably know like every keyboard shortcut.
I wish I knew a few more. Yeah, I wish I knew a few more, to be honest. I think I should take the time to just stop and learn a few more. But yeah, I know enough to do it quite quickly. And I have my sort of workflow down to a fine art now. I'm actually thinking that could be an interesting topic to share, how to create a course or a presentation and how I do my workflow. I just have my own workflow that I've, used for years now, but it's fun. And yes, hopefully it makes it quick for you. I've got 4 more videos to make for the course, and they are the really time consuming ones, but I'll get them done tomorrow.
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed with your
thank you.
modules. I did 3, but I haven't done the activity for 3 yet. That's what I finished. I haven't gotten over to 4, but I need to do the activity for 3, and I haven't done that yet.
4 is fun. 4 is the advanced play along videos. That's my that's fun. All right, we will sign off. Thanks, everybody, and keep watching if you need to catch up with the replay and all that sort of thing. And we will email out a link to the PD certificate form and the replay link as well if you've missed either of those. But thanks for coming, and we'll see you on next month's webinar. Yay!